Alright, good evening and welcome to part 2 of the research topic about the Toastrack in combination with the KMOS Turbo. I linked part 1 of this topic in the description below, and we're going to continue and hopefully finish the research of this thing that's going on. And let's first share the stream on Facebook so people know that we're up. And that's one, yes. Just a second, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's very windy, so if you hear noises, it's the storm. What is it? I cannot pronounce it, sorry. It's some girl name, I don't know. And it's passing Holland at the moment, so it's quite noisy, and fortunately nothing blew off here yet. But the storm isn't over, so we have to wait and see. And I'm actually at the highest part of this building, so if something blows up, then you will see it live here on ByteDelight Live. Anyway, I was just joking. Let's go on. Alright, so the link has been shared. Hey Stuart, Agustin, good evening. Well, we don't need luck, we need our brains. That's the most important thing, I think. Right. So, what I got here is, wrong button, this one here, sorry, sorry for all the clicking. So we got here a +2 and a, let me see if we can add some lights, and a Toastrack. So the Toastrack doesn't have the clock buffer which on the +2. So this is the +2 board and this is a clock buffer. It inverts the clock signal once and buffers it as well before going to the Z80 CPU. And then it buffers the clock signal again before going to the edge connector. And you see how far it is away from the edge connector, but it doesn't seem to be any problem with the +2. Now, that circuit is quite different in the Toastrack, but it's actually using exactly the same ULA chip. And this is a Toastrack with an Amstrad ULA chip, so this is exactly the same chip as the one underneath here, except for the heatsink, of course. But what they did here is use TR3, let me check where it is, I think it's this one here, TR3, to just invert the clock signal coming from the ULA chip and then get it to the Z80. So that's done here with the inverter. So this is a cheap method, I think. I think the transistor is cheaper than the chip. And also, it's not buffered in any way or inverted before going to the edge connector. So the clock signal coming from pin 39, this pin here, goes directly to the edge connector without any part in between. There are some other parts in the +2, like a pull-up resistor. I think this one here, not sure. No, it's not that one. I forgot which number it was, but it's not unimportant. So that's a pull-up when it comes from the ULA chip, and that pull-up should be here as well, but there's an empty space here on the board, so they just didn't solder it on here. I think it's a cheap way for Sinclair to say, let's get rid of parts we don't need for the standard behavior of the machine. I'm not sure, but because it's not here, the clock signal is just quite unusable on the on the Toastrack. There's literally nothing, no interface that can use it without doing anything to it. So what we are trying to do is create an external add-on. This is an experiment. This is a experimental prototype, to figure out if we can somehow buffer and invert. We don't need to invert it, but we just need to buffer the clock signal before going to any other interface. And what I was trying to do yesterday is adding the same parts that are on the +2. So the same HCU04 chip and the 1K5 pull-up resistor. This is not a 1K5, this is a, I don't know, this is a 1K5. Anyway, so I'm not sure where it was. Let me check if we can find it. I forgot where the location was. Maybe I think it's R63 here, but I'm not sure. But this wasn't enough. So we got some results. We actually did get a clock pulse finally on the output of pin 4 of the HU04. but it wasn't exactly the same as the clock signal come out from the +2. And the reason for that is probably that because the clock signal is going to the Z80 by TF3, there's some other resistance and capacitance on the clock signal through that circuit, and that's why it's different when we're not adding those parts, and we're not going to add those parts. That would be ridiculous. So there are a couple of solutions. One of the solutions could be that we uh, change the resistor value. So that's one thing we can try. I'm also curious what happens when we replace the HEU04 by an HEU4, and the reason for that is that the HEU has some slightly different thresholds for the um, threshold values, I should say, for high and low signals than compared to the standard CMOS version of the HC04. And I would like to use a single gate low voltage CMOS 04 chip. I have lots of them in stock as well, and that would fit quite nicely on such a small board. So that would be my first, my most preferred solution for that. But we need to know if that will work. So I had some other things in mind. The question is, if we would change this resistor value and get a proper clock output that works with, for example, the earlier versions of the FMC interface, then we might have solved it for this particular Toastrack machine. But we know that there are other types of ULA chips and some other tolerances within the boards. This is a issue 6U. There are some other board issues of the Toastrack as well. So the question is, will that work for all Toastracks then? Is that a solution for all Toastracks, or do we need specific values of the resistor then for specific models of the Toastrack? That wouldn't be nice. So that's something I want to find out. But in the end, there was something completely else I was thinking of, and that's do we need a clock? That's the most important question here. Do we need a clock? So I just posted a topic on Facebook. Let me check if there are any replies yet about which devices are actually using a clock signal, and I haven't gotten any response. But the only two I know is the DiffMC interface, the early versions, like I just said, and maybe the Spectronet interface. But Dylan Smith told me that it's not using the clock. It's just I don't know what it's there for, but it's used on the Spectronet, but it isn't depending on the clock signal. So I don't know if there are any other interfaces that use the clock signal, but I don't think there are many. The clock signal is really something that is not used by many add-ons. So if it's not needed, then the only thing we need to do is make sure that the clock internally is not disturbed by plugging in, for example, the KMOS turbo. And if the only thing that we need to do is add a 1K5 to make sure that the clock signal internally is working, then well, just add the 1K5 and we're done, and we can add it to the KMOS turbo. That's no problem at all. So 1K5 pull-up. So that might be a solution as well. But I have to check for that, and that might make the KMOS turbo be, well, how do you say it? If you connect the KMOS turbo with that solution, the original DiffMC interface will probably not work on a Toastrack anymore. And we tried it yesterday in the first part of this videos, and we saw that already that the early versions of the DiffMC didn't work with this solution. But we know that that's coming because of that's caused because of the clock. So anyway, the question is what we need to do. Let me check. For the chats here. Mark, the Netherlands do still exist because I'm here live. Alright. Okay. And some South African that I don't understand. Alright. By the way, chat as much as you want, but if you have any questions and you want to support me, you can use super chats nowadays. So, alright. So we're going to continue the checks with the resistor, or we could instead check if the Spectronet is working without a clock signal. So either of those. So we can do both things But I would be curious if to know if the SpectraNet is working without clock. So maybe we can first try that. Now the question is, do I have a SpectraNet here? I don't think so, because I think I sold all of them, and even my, yeah, that's a pity. So I do not have any in stock. So that's bad. Okay. I, so I want to make more tomorrow or Tuesday. So we have to wait for that answer, but we have to focus on getting the clock signal correctly then. So first I will connect this everything again and see what the clock signal looks like at this moment. Then we're going to swap the HU04 by an HC04 and see what the difference is, just out of curiosity, and then we will change the resistor value. Or maybe we'll experiment with a potentiometer to see if that does a lot to the signal, and I think it will. Alright, let's get to the other side. Have to position the camera, sorry. Because I'm not showing exactly what I want here. Alright, so let's put it this way, yeah, alright. Okay, power it on. So let me think. I think it's good enough if we do it this way now, just to check if the interface is working. And I already know that's not. That is not. So let's see. It tries to detect the card, but it cannot read any data from it. So it detects the card, but the clock signal is not good enough. So what we're going to do is swap the 1K5 with this 2K potentiometer. We should not short it, of course, so we will add a 1K resistor, fixed resistor as well. Let's do that on the other side here. Let's get a 1K. And let's get the 1K5. Let's ditch it first. This is not easy, so let's use a tool for that. Oh, we wanted to use the HC04, didn't we? Well, too late for that. Let's put on the 1K and the potentiometer, which will not be easy, I think, because it's wired up. Alright. So because this problem is caused by added track length on the clock signal, we don't want to make the tracks too long anyway, so let's be careful with that. So just an easy quick and dirty solder job, not much more at this moment. And now add these two. This is quite long, is it? Isn't it? So maybe that's not the best to do. Let's put in some shorter wires here. I don't like these lengths. And this will make help us to visually see what's happening on the clock signal. So we can attach a scope, and then we will see if the clock signal is actually 50-50, you can call it that. So the up and the down, the high and the low, should be the same time period. So that's what we want to get to. Alright. It's not very nice what I'm doing here, but it's good enough. It's just for testing. I hope it won't break off because it's very loose. It's 2, yes. Alright. So that should go something like somewhere like this. Okay. we should do it this way. Now let's get and see what actually happens to the clock signal. So we need ground, which is getting quite hard because it's almost not reachable anymore this way. Maybe we should, let's see, what can we do? It's hard to reach now because I still want to be able to put an interface behind it. Is this something we can do? I think so. And then connect it to the output pin, because the only thing we're interested in is seeing what happens when we change the value. So I think this is good enough. Let's see if it boots. Yes, and we have the output of the HU4. Let me check if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it quite nicely, I think. And this should change a lot. Yeah, you can see when I change the resistance, the width is growing a lot, and it's almost 50-50, but it's not good enough yet. So I think the value should be lower. That surprises me, because I think we're now at about 0 ohms. Let me measure it. Right. So what's the resistance of the potentiometer? Yeah. So we removed about all resistance from the potentiometer, and we're only using the 1K, and that surprised me quite a lot, because how low should we go to get a proper output? That's my biggest concern here. So I'm doubting what we should do. Maybe first we should check what happens when we put in the HCO4 instead of the HCU4, because I'm interested in the difference between those chips. We could reason it in theory, but it's easier now to just check it out. So the HCO4 is now in. All wires are still connected, so that's good. Now we're going to check it with the HCO4 and see if there's much difference or not. I think there should be some difference here. Did we connect it to the output pin? I think so, otherwise it won't work. But how can we reach that again? Not this way. I think I put it this way, didn't I? I think so. Okay, this is good enough. So let's see. Okay, so it's about the same. There's not much difference here. But you see the value changes a lot, and this is almost 50-50. So I guess that we need less than 1K to get it working. And of course we can connect another potentiometer, another fixed resistor value. That could be one thing we can do. But let's see what this does now with the diff-MC connected. Will it boot properly or not? No, still not. So I guess the clock signal isn't good enough yet. So I would want to try a lower resistance value for the 1K. And it doesn't feel that good to me, because I think getting it much lower will give more problems. It might even cause load on the ULA chip, and we don't want that, of course. 820, Peter says. Well, I will, because we have a potentiometer, I will put a 560 on it and put the potentiometer halfway, so in total we don't have 1K, which we have right now at this moment as well, so it would be a nice try. If you, Marcio, if you send me an email, then I will respond to that tomorrow morning. So it's now Sunday, and I did some other things with the kids today. Tomorrow I will have a normal work day. which is never normal, but nothing is ever normal, especially with retro computers, you know. Right, so why did the 5 volt break off? I don't know. I didn't touch it, did I? Let's get it back. Oh, of course, that's because of the pull-up we just disconnected. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, it still wants to be connected. That's nice. Thank you very much. What's going on? I first want to check what it should be connected. Okay, this is nice. This is good enough. Yes. Okay, let's put it halfway. As I said, it's a bit hot, of course. Okay, so this is halfway. So this is about the same value now as we had previously. Did I actually put in 560? Yes, we did. All right. Just leave it on and get to the other side again. So I think we will start with about the same output as we had with the 1K, but because I put in a lower fixed value, we should be able to get it to a better output now when turning the potentiometer. Let's see. Yeah, now oh, it's messing up the picture a lot. You can see how critical it is. I don't think this is good for the spectrum. So I'm missing the clock signal a lot here. Oh, why is it fluctuating? I don't like that. Am I touching something? Let me check. Not sure why it was fluctuating. We don't like that. Don't know. Okay, so this is about 50-50, and I bet that the FMC is just working now. But I don't like the solution. As I said, we're getting close to frustrating the ULED chip. And still not working. So this is just ridiculous. So we have a clock output. It's almost done. But you can see if I put it just too low, if the resistor value is too low, look, it's really critical. It's just a little difference, and you can see it's not working. Ah man, it's really, no, this is no good. Okay, it's working now. So I'm really curious. That's still not working correctly. Jesus. All right, let's do another attempt. Okay, so it's very, you can see it's resetting, so it's not good yet. Okay, can we try a slightly higher resistor value? It's still working, so okay, this way it seems to be working. Okay, let's put in some audio so we can hear the demo running. So it's becoming very critical, and the question is, what's the resistor value we need? Why do we not hear anything here? What? I should have sound now. Oh, bad contact. Okay, can we put it higher and put it even in a higher resistor value, or is this the value that we really need? I'm just turning it slightly. Nope. Nope, too much. Nope. Nope. So this is about the value that we need, and I really don't like the solution, because what we're doing is we're changing the clock signal that's coming out of the ULA chip with what will it be? It will be about, I guess, 800 ohms, just like someone just said. I guess so, but let's measure it. So I really wonder what the value is at this moment. I really want to get the, well, let's just disconnect it because we know the value now. Let's see what the actual value is set to at this moment. It's at 670 ohms, so 670. And the question is, how easy is it to find a resistor value or a combination of resistors that can get it, whoa, the wind, oh wow, can get it to 670. So it was 672, and we want to find something in the neighborhood, and of course the most obvious would be to try 680. So maybe we should try that first and see if that's good enough. And I think I will solder it directly to the connector instead of on the chip pins, because I don't like this solution here. Okay, let's just put it on here. So directly to 5 volts. So it's a pull-up, and we'll see if this is better or not. And if it would work, then the main thing we still have several options. So let's just put it on it first, and we'll see after that. So 680 we're using now, and I guess that when turning the potentiometer, we got several other values as well. So 680 might just be good enough. Okay, so it's just a quick and dirty solder job. It's not decent or something, just to see if it's working. So 680. What do you think, guys? Will this work or not with the DFNC? I don't know. So it's an HCO4 and it's 670 ohms connected now. Let's see what it does. Alright, so it seems to be booting. And it seems to be loading everything, so that's good. Right, so this seems to be solving the clock issue for DFMC. Now the next thing that we should check, I think, is another Toastrack, and preferably another board version. Let me grab another one. And I'm not sure which of these are working, so I have to do some testing, of course. No picture, this one says, so it's no go. This is an empty shell. And what does this one say? It doesn't say anything, but it seems to be deployed by me, so I guess this one is working. This is also a 6U, so I just want to make sure if it's working on several boards. Okay, nothing here yet. Why isn't this working? Oh, it is. Not sure why this is happening. Well, it's not that important, but this is usually something with the clock signal here. Yeah, look. Right, solve. Okay, let's see. I think the the reset capacitor is bad. Okay, so it's also working on this Toastrack, but we still want to check if we can find another board version. Alright, let's get to the next one. Here. Doesn't work. An issue with I/O, so probably one of the transistors. Let's find the next. Okay, no node in this one, so could be just working. And it is working, so let's check it out. This is also a 6U. I don't think I have any other models. So now it seems that it's not booting. So I guess for this specific board it's not. And this one is a differential ULA, so maybe that's the reason of it. So the other one also has a differential ULA chip, so it shouldn't matter. Strange. Strange. Very strange. So this one doesn't seem to be working with that fix. Is it actually working? Not some other issue. Let me check. Does it boot this way or try to boot? Yeah. Okay. So it's really messing up the clock signal too much. And that's what I'm afraid for. So we can find a resistor value that will work on some Toastracks, but it doesn't work with other ones. There's some note in here about clock. There's an odd one. There's another abstract ULA chip, but with a different print. But anyway, let's see if this is booting up. Yes, it is. And that's what I hate about the solution for the Toastrack. If you see, it's the same issue here. There's also a 6U with an abstract ULA. So, oh man, this is hard. So I've got two, or at least one here is not working with the fix, and the other one is. So the best thing I could do is try to increase the resistor value a bit, and see if it still works on the board that it was working on. Let me check again. So it's working. The fix is working on this board. It's obviously. All right. So what I want to know is if we use a slightly higher resistor value, will it still work? Alright. Let's swap cameras. Next logical choice would be 820, like Peter said. So Peter, maybe you're just right. And 820 is of course more safe for ULA chip, so I hope that will work, but I'm afraid it's just too high, but we have to see. Alright. So the 820 is now connected to the clock and the 5 volts. So let's see what happens. First do a boot without the diff'em-C connected. That should work without any problem because the value is higher, and I forgot to bring my diff'em-C. Where did I leave it? It's here. So next question is, will the 820 work and not be too high? No, it doesn't. So you see, it's really a pain. There's not yet a resistor value. We can increase the value just a bit. Maybe we should check first if the other board I didn't boot with that value, if it will boot with 820. That would be interesting to know. Because if it's not, then there's doesn't make any sense to try and change it. Well, this boots with 820. It didn't boot with 680. So well, let's try it with Cubase then maybe. Yeah. Okay. So for this board, 820 seems to be okay, as you can see. So we got two values now. For some boards we need 820, and for some boards we need 670. I would say let's try lowering the value just a bit. So we could use 680 with, for example, 50 ohms added, for example, or 68 maybe. Let's try what would be the best. 73. No, I want a bit more. So 680 plus 80 is 740. I think we can try 740. So we're going back to the 680 we just tried. This one here. Yes, together with the we're going to do it just this way. Alright, let's swap cameras just a second. Alright. And this is what I don't like about the Toastrack, that it's different between several board versions and it's not consequently built. So I don't know what the best solution is. We just have to try and see what happens. Alright, that's one. And of course, even if this will work, it's still a question if the 6K boards will work with the solution. And I don't know that because I don't think I have a 6K here, you know. And there might be even other board values issues as well. So I really don't know if this is a proper solution. It's just guessing. So I'm not very confident in using this solution, but we will continue and see if it works for these two boards. And otherwise, I have the plan B in mind. So let's try this first. So we now used 680 plus, let us say, I think 82. So that's about 740 ohms. Oops, what did I do? Okay. Are they still connected? Nope, I just ruined it. The capacitors hit the bottom of the case, so they're loose. Let me just keep it inside a bit and it's all done. This is a lot better. Okay. Alright. So everything's still connected. Do boot up. Okay. So this is the board that didn't work with the too low value. Now let's see with the FMC connected what it does. Okay, this works. And this also works, so maybe we're good. Okay. So what we did is we're shaping the ULA clock signal to make it compatible with the HU04 or HU04 inverter, which is already used in the +2, but it's not present in the Toastrack. But you can see there we need several values to make it work, and I guess that on the Toastrack in the +2 that they used the same parts in each and every model machine. So that's the reason why it always works in the +2 and it's not working always with the same circuit on a Toastrack. So let's see if it works with the version that needed the higher value or the lower value. And you see that now the resistor value is too high and it doesn't work with this Toastrack anymore. So I don't think this is a solution. So I want to go another route. what I want to do now is forget about this, forget about fixing the clock signal, forget about the inverter, forget about the buffer. The only thing I want to do is I want to be able to just make the KMOS interface not interfere with the clock signal on the Toastrack. And we can do it in two ways. We can just disconnect the clock signal, that would be the easiest way. Or we can add a resistor that will shape the clock signal just a bit, but not too much that it's causing problems. And I know already that using a 1K5 should solve that issue, so I'm going to remove all the parts here, all the wires, and I'm going to reattach the clock signal here, and we shouldn't have to do this on a extender board, but we're still experimenting, so it's not a big issue, because we can just do it on the KMOS turbo. But let's first try it on this board here. So get back to the 1K5, which is this one here, and see if that will make the machine boot even with KMOS interface connected. So that's still the question. We don't know if that will work or still mess up the clock signal, but we're going to try. So what we're simply trying to do again is we're shaping the clock signal a bit so that it is not being disturbed that much by the KMOS turbo with the added track length on the clock signal. Alright, so just 1K5 is pull up on clock. Nothing special here. And let's see what this does. So first let's boot up. So we have two machines to test it on again. It's here, but not connecting it yet. Alright, so it's booting, and now let's connect it. And it's still booting. So this is a solution. It's not the best solution because we know that the FMC won't boot anymore. The old FMC, that's strange. It's booting now. What the hell? Okay, this is very odd. So we have just shaped the clock signal, and now the FMC is booting. We have not inverted it, double inverted it, or not buffered it. It's just booting without a buffer. And that's what is making me mad, because the clock signal is so weak on the Toastrack. Why is this working? Oh my god. Okay, let's try it with the other machine here that other tolerances, if you can call it that. This is so frustrating that it's working. That's why it's frustrating. Oh really? And this is also working. Oh my god. Yeah, it's really working. Gee. This is really making me mad. So I wonder how the clock signal actually looks. I really wonder. What's the easiest way of checking that? I don't think there's an easy way. We can grab it from the ULA chip. That's a possibility. So maybe we should do just that. But which one will I use? This one or the other one? I think the other one, because I know where the clock signal is on that one. It's indicated with pencil there, so just to make it easy for myself. Otherwise I should get a pencil out of the drawer. I'm so lazy. Alright, we need the ground pin. I think it's ground, I'm not sure, let me check. Where is my other multimeter? Oh, it's there already. So, it's frustrating that it's working. I don't like that it's working. There's no reason why it just is working now, and it's really frustrating. Okay, that's ground, proper ground, so we need to get the probe on that pin here. That's one. And then pin 39. Yes. I'm really curious how the clock signal from the ULA chip is looking, because this is really ridiculous why it's not working. So I will bet that the amplitude is quite low. You can see this is the underline, so let's put it here. This is the 0 volts. And when I switch it on, I guess it's only about 2 volts peak. So it should, let me just change the scale. So scale is 1 volt per block, per square. So I say it's peaking at this line here, so only 2 volts. That's what I know. And you can see exactly that's happening. It's only not stable because there's no trigger level here, so it's only peak, 2 volts peak. And it didn't boot right now. Maybe that's because we're touching the clock signal. Yeah, there's an error now, so I bet that when I lift this probe off, it will boot. I bet you. And you look, it's really working. So it's such a weak signal. Such a weak signal. And even with the 1K5 connected, it's not working when I touch the clock signal with a high impedance probe, you know. So it's really ridiculous. Why is it this unstable? I really don't like this at all. Okay, we know that it works this way. I just want to try another older FMC, but I'm actually not sure if this one is working, but we'll see. Yep. Alright, that's working as well. So for all the FMCs, this is a solution. Okay, it's really pissing me off a bit because this is not real research, you know. This is not a real proper answer to the question what a proper solution would be. Anyway, let's get to the +2. I don't like that it's working because I didn't expect it to be working, Augustin. So I expect it to be working when we find a proper solution, and we haven't found a proper solution. I just expected the machine to boot, but I didn't expect the old FMC to work. So for me, this is not a proper fix, you know. So let me see if it still works. So this is a +2, and I know we don't need the fix, but I just want to know if it works because I might want to solder the 1K5 clock shaper to the KMOS turbo itself. I might want to do that, but it shouldn't influence the other models, of course. So let's see what happens on this model. Okay, it boots. Now where to leave my, right, this one here. I won't expect to be any problem in here because it's just a pull up and it won't influence the clock signal that much. And if you're curious what the clock signal looks like when it's proper clock signal, well, let's see the output of pin 4 here, because we know that one is going to the edge connector. We found it out yesterday, and now I still need a ground wire to mount the probe to. This is ground, and what's the nearest ground I can use? I don't think it's this one. It is this one, so we can use the lag of the capacitor here, so that's fine. Yep, we can reach it. Alright, so let's see how a proper clock signal looks. And you can see the difference. Now it's really 5 volts, it's a perfect 5 volt, and it's about 50-50. It's not exactly, the periods are quite a bit different still, but it's not no issue. So this is working just fine. And I wonder if when we pull the interface, if we can see the clock signal changing slightly. Let me check. No, it's not changing at all. So for a +2, it's no problem at all to add the 1K5 to the clock signal on the edge connector, and that's because it's buffered. So that's no issue. We still should also check that on a, for example, +2A board, but I don't know if I have a power supply here. I have one on the left, so let's check that. Because if this is working, then we can just add the 1K5 to the KMOS turbo interface itself, and it will solve the clock issues. And that's the most important, I think. The only problem is that I didn't expect it to work with the older FMCs, but it is. So, well, that's something we get for free then. but it's not what I expected. Anyway, let's go on and see if the 1K5 isn't messing up the clock signal and the newer Amstrad models. So we need a proper power supply. My desk is getting quite full here, so I don't like this, but some production work to do tomorrow. So let's power in this power supply here. Yeah. No output. Alright. And this power supply needs to be refurbished because this one is known to damage machines and add-ons from time to time, so I really should refurbish it first, but that's for another topic because I want to make sure that the refurbishing of these power supplies really solves those power spike issues. So first let's boot it up. Okay, that's working. There's no switch in here. I hit it a lot, but it's no problem. My new replacement power supplies have a switch, which is a lot easier. Okay, we have the 1K5 resistor to the clock signal, we have the KMOS turbo, and we have the old FMC. Let's see what happens. Oh, and we need to do a run change for the +2A, so we need to add another dip switch here. Alright. Okay, so this is completely fine, there's no issue at all. So my verdict is that the 1K5 isn't messing up anything. It's actually helping out the older FMCs behind the KMOS turbo to get them to work, and that's okay. Something I didn't expect, but it's fine. It's fine. So we shaped the clock signal on the Toastrack good enough that it is working with a older FMC, and well, it's working, so why complain, you know? Okay, let's put it back. Just the two of these. Let's switch back to the other input, and let's get video on here and power on here. Because I want to do some more for testing. But this should work just fine. We know that already. Oh, it's really so frustrating. Why is it working? I know it sounds crazy, but I didn't expect it to work, and this is really not a proper solution. But the funny thing is that the only thing that was missing on this board that should be on according to the schematic is the 1K5 resistor on the clock signal, and that's what we added on the external edge extender, and that makes everything work just fine. So if Sinclair just would have added that resistor, it would have solved so many issues, you know. But anyway, okay. Still, it's not the same solution as on a +2, because on a +2 you have the real buffer, and this signal is not buffered. It's the direct signal coming from the ULA going to the edge connector. It's still not the best solution. Anyway, next thing I want to try is play some games with mouse on an old FMC. Why not? Because we want to make sure that it's actually working completely properly without any issues. So let's do some tests. Let's play a game. Shall we play a game? Oh, I need a keyboard, of course. I wonder if I still have the new game, the new mouse game, which surprised me immensely on this card here. Let me check if I can find it. Where did I leave it? Did I put it in an archive maybe? There was a new game. I don't know which game it was. It was a huge game. It wasn't Bad Apple, it's a demo. It wasn't Hard MD, I think, but let's try. I think this is a demo as well. Okay, what is it doing? Okay, this is not what I expected. Okay, let's try something else. What is in the... Okay, it's not what we want. I'm looking for a game. And I wonder if I still have it on here. I just want to know because I want to show you how cool it looked. But I'm not sure which. It just needs a pentagon. Still a nice effect what it's doing here. I need pentagon. Cool. Okay. No, I don't think it's on here. Maybe here. Let me check. Was oh, I think it's the one beneath this one. Let me check. So I don't think it's this one. No. I think it's this one, or is it highway? I'm not sure. Let me check. Yeah, I think this is the one. But it's not working with mouse, and it should be working with mouse. I'm not sure. This is the game that I'm talking about. So do we actually have a mouse function here? Yes, this works. So the game should work. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. Oh, this. Sorry, I needed the other one. Was it front? I think it's so. Yeah, I think so. Alright, we'll get to chats in a minute. Run demo. But why is this not working with the mouse now? This was working with the mouse. Wait. I'm really doubting what I'm doing wrong here. Okay, let's try it again. So it doesn't say mouse in any way, but I know there's a version of this game with mouse. Keyword Kempson. Okay, let's try Kempson. But I don't think it will solve the problem. Let's see. No. So I know there's a version of this game with mouse, but I don't know which one it is. Anyway, what is this? I forgot about which game this was. All right. Okay, this was just another game I was testing. Alright, so I don't know which it was. Is it here maybe? Nope. Too bad. No, I really don't know where it is. So it's called Front, something like that. I forgot the name, but I don't know where it is anymore. It's not here. No, anyway. Okay, let's just do a game that I know is working with Kempson mouse. Like Flying Shark. Okay, K-mouse, start, let's do some speed. Alright. Let's lower the speed of the mouse a bit. Okay, so everything seems to be running just fine now. With the K-mouse turbo in between. Okay, let me show you that this is really a solution. I'm not saying that it's the solution, but let me detach the 1K5 fix, and this will not boot up the machine at all, as you can see. So we know that's a solution on the clock. Okay, so we have a solution. Applause. we have a solution, but it's not the solution I was looking for. But anyway, if it works, it works. Why complain? Okay, I want to get the other machine again, the machine that needed the other resistor value, just to make sure. And of course I will do more testing, but for now we have two machines that needed different resistor values, but on the previous solution, but this will most probably work on both. Okay. And I could just have created recorded a video and do the editing later on, but you know, this is a live video and I like doing live videos so you can see everything that happens here. Okay, let's test it again. And okay, it boots up just fine with the fixer in between. Let's get the same game. Alright. Okay, no problem at all. So, I'd say that let's just do the same test without the fixer board and see if that it's not working. Even without FMC it will not work because it's messing up the clock signal. It does something, but this is not what we expect, of course. It's hanging, so no, this is not working out. No, let's put it off. You can see it's not working out. So the reason that it does something when the FMC is connected is that's because there's some impedance on the clock signal because of the CPLD that's actually using the clock signal. But without anything attached to the clock signal, it's just messing up it. And that's because the track length going to the throughput edge connectors, all the three of them, that's connected to the clock signal, and it will act as an antenna and cause all kinds of problems. So this is a solution. Let's get back. All right. So I wonder if this simple fix, and we can do it on the KMOS itself, of course, because it would be exactly the same fix, if this is a proper solution for the issue we have with the KMOS turbo. What do you think, guys? What do you think? So should I keep it with this solution? I think it works. I think it will. By accident, it's also causing the diffMC to work. And that's because we just shaped the clock signal, as I said a couple of times. So it's a win-win, I think. And I can just add it to all caps and mouse turbo interfaces. I don't see any problem with that. The only thing that we still need to test is if the Spectronet is still working behind the KMOS turbo. It probably will with this fix, I'm not sure. And if not, it will only not work on a Toastrack. And the Spectronet works on a Toastrack, that's no issue. But when you add the KMOS turbo, it can cause all kinds of problems. Leave the device as original. Yeah, of course, the machine you're talking about, Jim, aren't you? Because I don't want to change the machine, but I want to offer either this fix extender or tell people who already bought the KMOS turbo to add the resistor themselves if they can, or otherwise I will send them this fix for free for the couple of people who have this problem. This is not expensive, so that's no issue. It's a couple of euro, and I want people to have a proper working setup. But on the new KMOS turbos, I will just add a 1K5. That's my best solution for now. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just do that then. Let's not make the video any longer now and just joking. I think we found a solution, and that's the most important thing. This works. So we fixed a 35-year-old problem with a simple resistor. And I even wonder if all the hassle with the diffMCs, the older versions with the clock signal, if that could have been avoided by just adding a 1K5 resistor, you know. So nowadays we use a separate clock on the DivMC Pro series, but I think this might have worked as well. But of course, this is not a proper solution. But anyway, it works. I'm happy. I don't think I got any responses to the clock signal. Posted it on Facebook, so that's how it is. So I will try SpectraNet on Tuesday, I think, with the CMOS Turbo to see if that works. Again, I don't think it will be a problem. I wish I could have tested it now, but I sold all my SpectraNets that I had in stock. I know I should always keep one for testing, but sometimes I get very tempted to sell my last one because I just want to get orders out. You know, that's the thing. So I sold my the one I used from time to time, and I don't have any in stock. I think. Let me check again, but I don't think so. No, there's no SpectraNet there. No, only a lot of other interfaces, but no SpectraNet. I got plenty of other stuff. All right, so let me think if I can add anything else. I am quite happy that this is the best solution, just a resistor, because I really thought I would have used the very small single gate buffer. Let me show you how small it is. So I think I will want to do a close-up of this, so you know what part I'm talking about. Let me just do automatic manual focus now. Alright, so... Oh, that's the wrong camera. Sorry. Brio, sorry. Okay. So this here, this is a single gate buffer, non-averting buffer. It's a 5-pin chip. It's hardly noticeable because of the tape that's still on it. But it's a single gate inverter. It's so small. You can see how small it is compared to my finger. And this would have been a solution if we needed a CMOS buffer chip, but we don't need it. So I think we can just leave it out and get the solution out to the people who need it, free at least now, and maybe others in the future. So I will ask them if they can solder a 1K5 resistor between those two pins. I will make detailed photographs of how it should look like when it's done, because it's of course important that they're not actually creating a short between other pins like ground or the 9V, for example. You can see the resistor is quite small for that. But if you do it properly, and this is not the solution that I would propose, suggest. I would say they would do it lower on the board. Anyway, well, I will make some photos about for it. Right, who's my dirty videos? Who's that? Is it Mark? Anyway, I really wonder who that is. I'm happy he's not spamming with X-rated sites or something. Anyway, so thank you for watching, guys. I will do more videos tomorrow. I want to do one video a day. I really try to, because it helps me getting in contact with you guys and fixing stuff like this and just hang out. And I'm happy with this fix. So thank you for watching today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.